pro tip. Find someone who's in the same boat as you, because life is 10x easier. Actually, just talk to people, open up to people who are in the exact same boat, because they will open up back. And then, and then there is no like trust breaking happening.
And they won't get tired of listening. Because like, oh, yeah, same. No, it happened with me last week.
Oh, yeah, get your same friend. Promise. Hi everyone!
Welcome back to the next episode of Gal Pals Unplugged. I'm Arya.
And I'm Sanchita.
Today we're going to be discussing about marriage. Not weddings, but marriage. So everything related to dating, transitioning into this whole married phase, how we're dealing with it, what's been going on, all of that good stuff.
Yeah. So actually, we will also be, this is a little personal for us, because we'll be deep diving into how we started dating, how we decided that they're the ones, how we got married, and all the good plus gooey stuff.
How did you and your husband first meet? Spill the deets.
Okay. So, I met Anuj back in school. Ara's probably heard this story, but I've met Anuj back in school. We started off on a slightly flirtatious note. Fast forward to where the flirting got a little hectic and serious, and we're like, okay, this is a little more than that. So we somehow kept in touch after school, and we were always like in each other's life till 2016, where he was going on a trip with his friends, and I had just that week off, so I just asked my girlfriends, and they're like, yeah, we're up for it, and we just joined them in Andaman. We had different like stay and everything, because they all went for a scuba trip, and we just went to have fun. But once we landed there, even before that, we were in like a talking phase, and when we were there, like at the trip, we're like, okay, now we're dating. So
it's been a really long time.
Yeah, that was 15th December. Like we still celebrate 15 December as our date. So 15 December 2016. To now we got married, like cut to 2023 Jan 18 is when I got married to my ex-boyfriend. Sorry, my boyfriend, now husband. So yeah, it's been like 8-9 years of dating this dude, and yeah, that's how I met Anuj.
That's so cute. I, on the contrary, met Lalit very recently. We knew about each other, but we never really were friends or had conversations in the past. I met him in 2021 January at a birthday party, and I just had like the weirdest dream. Just trying to dance, boy, and move my hump.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so I think even in that conversation, I was like, oh, he's cute. And I kind of always kept in touch with Sanchita and always inquired, okay, how's Lalit? He's cute, blah, blah, blah. That happened, and then we got to talking at Sanchita's cocktail party last year in Jan 2023. So that's when we officially met. And I know she was gonna smile because there's such a cute story here. I love this. Like for context, there was this Maggie counter that Sanchita had at her cocktail, like outside of the cocktail party arena, and it was quite late at night. It was like 4 a.m. and there was this guy who was making Maggie, and he was just so tired. He was ready to wrap it up and call it a night. Just wanted to go home. And that was the first time we were talking, and we realized we had so many similarities in our families, where we come from, what we eat, just everything. And
you want to tell the bit where, you know, why
you want to tell it?
Because it's my favorite bit. So because he's my brother, I'm proud of like he finally showed some gut with this, because I kept him in the loop that, you know, she's coming back and she's kind of cute and you both have like similar backgrounds, but he's very shy. He's like Raj from Big Bang Theory, literally. Does not talk, very shy. It took me 6 months to get him talking to me when I met him back in 2016, but they were at the Maggie counter. And it was like 4, I think. And it was short, obviously. It's 4 a.m. The dude was about to wrap up. And then she just went there, and probably the guy must have said, no, I can't make anymore. And he gave him like some money and he's like, no, keep making till she wants. And apparently they kept talking, so there's 10 Maggies in front of them because that dude actually kept on going making those Maggies, and they both are just talking and not picking up any Maggie, not letting anyone else pick any Maggie because I'm just like in the background, I want some. Like, but yeah, that's very cute. I love Lalit for being so gutsy, at least then.
Yeah, and then we met later, a couple of months later, because I had to travel, and then I guess we just never stopped talking after that. But big shout out to Anuj and Sanchita, fully like vouching us and shipping us, because we did date for a really short time before we decided to get married.
What's your vibe with each other's husbands?
So I actually, when you started dating Anuj, I immediately moved to US for a really, I think from all of what the time period that you were dating.
Yeah, so you got to chill with him like 6 months.
Yeah, I did not get to interact with Anuj a whole lot, but I think even in those like few months that I was here, from the very beginning, Anuj has always been really vocal about, oh, I'm going to marry her. She's going to be my wife. She's my wife.
Yeah.
So I think that was really reassuring because I always knew that he had right intentions with you. Which is why I immediately fell in love with Anuj. We only interacted when I came here for the short period
for like 10 days, a month,
those short
maybe.
periods of time. But even after I moved back last year, I think we immediately we kind of just sunk into a phase where we were really comfortable.
Yeah.
I'll also say it's because we're so similar, our personalities are really similar. He is an extrovert, fully an extrovert, and I'm an introvert, but I think it's because we're both Libras. We both tend to really like think alike. Even if something happens, I'm always like, hang on, let me just think from Anuj's point of view. I'm sure he has something that's going on at the back of his mind, but he's not able to articulate it right now to you. So yeah, I think we've always been really, really comfortable, Anuj and I, and now it's even more fun because we do end up spending a lot of time together, and the dynamic is great now.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna actually just say that I think because their birthdays are like a day apart, they're so similar, and sometimes when she gives me Anuj's POV when I'm already pissed, like I don't need her making sense in that. I need her to be like senseless with me. And she's like, but you know what? I think Anuj might be thinking on these lines. I'm like, oh God. But that's how I think that works for us because me and Lalit, I got introduced to Lalit through Anuj. And whatever, he was shy, I cracked him open. We're great friends now. He's my brother. Also the same thing, he's a Scorpio and so am I, and we both are November born, and like I love that for us because he is an introverted Scorpio and I'm an extroverted Scorpio, and similarly you're an introverted Libra and Anuj is an extroverted Libra. So I love that because me and Lalit instantly hit it off. He helped me. He's seen my relationship go through so much. He, Aniket, and 2-3 of our friends have just seen the highs and lows, and he's helped me through everything. So he's genuinely my brother. So I have a great bond with him. And because he's so shy, I love that I can order him around. Like, I'm just like, Lalit, you have to come. Okay, I'll come. You say, I'll come. I love that. Also, I think for me and Lalit, because I've met him in a different light and not as your partner, that sort of helps our friendship in a way and also helps me help you decode him. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. So I like that for us. To wrap it up, like I have a good relationship with him.
Now that you both are married, how do you influence each other?
I would say Sanchita.
Things are getting saucy.
I'd say I love the strong feminine energy that you bring into this home. Especially in terms of you being just, a couple of more months of experience and me being right,
on the curve.
Yeah, on the curve in that corner. I always sort of have a helping hand to kind of help me navigate through any situations that might occur. So I truly feel blessed for that because I think we've reached a phase where we would not actively go and bother our parents with all the small details. So I think it's amazing that we have each other to kind of guide us through all of these scenarios that might take place. And also, what really inspires me is the fact that you handle a huge social circle, yours, Anuj, or even work or home, and just everything that comes along with it. So I completely think that we as women can do it all. In fact, we do it all, right?
Your hot take. When I got married and my new family and everything, you're still figuring how everyone reacts, everyone's reaction time, what's funny, what's not funny, their sense of humor, your sense of humor, everything. There's still like a lot of new waters on every small thing, every small habit. So if I have ever been emotionally like, oh my god, like this happened today, and even though you were not married at the point, but you keeping me grounded, that's essentially, don't read into it. Like, step back a little, don't overthink. That is something that you do influence me in a way. Basically, like, Arya is super strong and she sort of handles everyone and everything around her. So I love that. She's a good balance for me. She keeps me strong.
What makes him the one?
I always knew family was a big priority for me. And when I met Lalit, we kind of spoke about how our priorities can coincide. That was on the top of list for him as well. Coincidences happened when I started to engage with Lalit, which is basically our families are literally the same. Yeah. They are two peas in a pod. In fact, his mom is also a Redditch. His sister's name is Arya.
Yeah.
What I mean to say is that we share the same taste in how we live our lives and what we eat, literally, quite literally. How we go about life, what our beliefs are, what we worship, what our views on just like social, political situations.
Yeah. You both have similar views.
Literally, like it's like looking in a mirror.
I think for me, it was always clear that Anuj is the one for similar reasons, actually, that his family is very similar to my family. The kind of openness and the freedom and the exposure that they want for themselves, they want for their kids, and the way they go about life is very similar to how my parents are. So the first thing I saw when me and Anuj started dating, I started coming home, was how he treats his mom, his equation with his mom. And I'm like, okay, that's a very relaxed and chilled out equation, which is similar to what my equation with my mom is. So aligning those beliefs would be easy. And secondly, definitely I'm a very 0 or 100 in anything, in friendship or in like love or anything. He's the only male I've met my whole life who is exactly that. When he like fell in love with me, he was so out there, so bold. He wanted, he was already telling people at 19, I'm gonna marry this woman, and I should be like, calm down, like we're not there. But I like that because I am like that, and if I can give so much of me, I would love if someone else can bring the same to the table. So that was why I thought he was the one.
What's it like settling into life with your new fam?
For me, basically, what I think, and this is strictly because it works for us, is I have always been in a very free environment growing up. I was super independent. My parents have just let me and my brother be. Going into then finding Anuj and then finding like how similar our backgrounds are. So we had a choice that how do you guys want to live? And I thought that at least for the first few years to have like a good bond, it's good if we stay together, because I don't think even me and Anuj knew the first thing about taking care of a full home. Like, I understand staying away and all does teach you that, because even I was in Milan for a bit, but still I was like, no, it's good that we would have their support. So, basically I do live with my in-laws. Like, works for me as of now, is my idea.
And it's always nice to have that time where you can bond with your in-laws, right? So, currently I think I have the best of both worlds, because I live in Goregaon for a week, which is where Lalit and his parents live, and I live in Pune for the next week. So I do an alternate between Goregaon and Pune, a medium distance relationship, if I may. So currently I'm sort of traveling, doing an up and down between Goregaon and Pune, which works out perfectly for all of us, because when I'm in Pune, I get to stay with my mom, or I get to stay at my house by myself, the one with Lalit, or I can just...
Oh, you're here.
I'm here. And when I'm in Goregaon, we're all together. So I've always had this really... this whole concept where I want to live with my family, because growing up it was just my mom and I. So I have that now with my new family, which works out really well for all of us.
Here's 2 cents of wisdom from Ara, please.
Okay, I think the hardest part for anyone who's with us in this, which I would say, is setting boundaries. Because boundaries in a sense where you don't want to lose yourself too much trying to, but you want to be in good books with your in-laws. But the thing is, I definitely think people should not commit or show sides of them which they can't maintain for the next 15, 30, whatever years. Because they might not like what you're doing, but they might trust consistency. You know? Like that trust is more important than faking it, because it's gonna burn out, and that's like a whole other slippery slope.
So what would you say in terms of boundaries have you set in your marriage?
I think a big one for me is Anuj's family usually chills together like through the day, and they just use their rooms to sort of go to bed. Like that's just their sleeping sleeping area. But for me, I need my room and I need my privacy and I need some time to myself through the day. Anyway, obviously I have work, so I'm here. But apart from that, my in-laws know that, oh, she's going to be upstairs. She's going to be watching something. She needs her time. She needs her off. So, yeah. Because that's why I think we both chose to stay with our family. The freedom aspect of it.
I was about to get to that. I think even it doesn't come as a rebel from our side as well, that we need to set these boundaries. I'd say even for me, this boundary of living in Goregaon for a week and then being in Pune for a week works out really well for everybody, is because I have a life here. I have my work here, and Lalit has a life there, and Lalit has work there. Lalit also has friends there, and he has friends here. But I, on the other hand, don't have friends in Goregaon.
Of course,
there's no gym, or there's just not a space where I can be my authentic self, because everything I do is tied to Lalit, which is of course how marriages work. But having your own personality or having your own identity, is extremely important, because then if you know who you are and you're strong enough to believe in yourself, that reflects on your marriage. Another one, personally, I think I don't see myself heavily being in the kitchen as much, which is expected, I think, in this newer generation, because we have a lot of other things that keep us engaged. Or I think the dynamics are, of course, now shifting. The responsibilities are shifting in as we're progressing. What works for me is, I think I can invest my time somewhere else and get this outsourced. Of course, that's not always the case, because I also enjoy spending time in the kitchen once in a while, cooking something for Lalit or just my family. I love that, but I think if I did it on a daily basis, it would start seeming like a chore for me.
Take the fun out of it also for you. No, I think that's also a big one for me, because I just don't enjoy it. It's not something, and like it's not my area of expertise either. It's not even a boundary, it's just a disclaimer that I came with, where I'm like, and that's the thing, right, that we are lucky enough to be in situations where it's not an ask. Like even that disclaimer wasn't an ask. Oh, will you do it or no? It was just like, okay, whatever you want to do, you do. Like it was always like that.
But you know how we've always also spoken about this, that we'll probably take up a bit more of the cooking bit once we have kids. But that now we feel that it is wise to invest our energy and time in places where we can grow right now and what is fun for us.
When did the reality of married life really hit?
It didn't till a year and later. Like I think a lot of that has set in this year for me. Last year was so, I don't know, I probably traveled a lot last year, and there's so much happening that it didn't sink in as much as it did for me this year. So the first year is a fluke.
In what way though?
Basically your body puts you in a very positive headspace. I think it just puts you in a ki abhi deal kar le jaisa hona hai. But the reality is not something, because if at that point it sinks in, you won't be able to handle that much change. Like the loss of, also like I know it's a heavy word, but the loss of your family, or not loss as say, but like now you're not seeing your parents every day. Loss of your bed, the loss of your room, the loss of your comfort food. Like comfort food for me is dal chawal, and even for Anuj is dal chawal, but it's not gonna taste same because I grew up with a certain taste of dal chawal, which it's not here. So
reality is still setting in for me because I don't have one place where, even like, I'm such a person of like, I have this whole routine. I plan everything. I would like write down my hair wash days and my hair oil days, and I have to call this person, do this thing, blah blah blah. So now for me to have my belongings spread across 4 different locations, my mental state to also be in 4 different places, and of course this change that has happened over the last 12-18 months is kind of all culminating in a phase where I'm continuously okay, I have to power through this now because there's always something, and I always have to be here today and then there tomorrow, and just kind of do that back and forth. So it's still setting in for me. It hasn't fully hit, but probably what works is I try to find the positives in everything, because there's no other way I think I would probably get through this.
Let's make it a little light. Let's make it a little snappy. Tell me something you don't like about your partner.
I think Lalit has a really tough time saying no.
For me, Anuj, I love that Anuj is spontaneous because it helps me, but sometimes he's too spontaneous. The amount of trips that we've done which are a day before, I don't like that.
What are the things they do for you?
I have the answer at the tip of my tongue. Anuj, and it's a big one for me. Anuj cooks, and that's such and he doesn't cook. He cooks, because he's so good. He'll make me like, Sanchita, today I'm gonna make you a full Mexican meal, and there's a burrito wrapped with like the correct foil, and there's nachos with guac and everything. Like, actually, my father-in-law makes insane crabs, and
I've had Manish Kaka's food, and it's really good. Lalit is very attentive. He does truly give me his undivided attention, and he remembers things.
What is the one thing they don't like about you?
How I stretch fights. I can go on for like my max is a week. I can stretch a fight for a week.
I believe it's the silent treatment that he won't be appreciating, because I will not talk till I don't want to.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on this episode of Gal Pals Unplugged. I hope it was fun. I hope you now know how to deal with silent treatment or give some. So thank you. We would love to sort of dive into this topic again because it's a big one. So please comment your questions, how you want to know how we deal with things. So comment and let us know. Thank you.
Bye.
No, I'll tell you what happened. I thought I really had something. I don't have it.
And I think this is where the whole hand holding that we
the whole
let's make it a little light.
Let's make it a little snappy. Hey guys, what do you mean? Why are you so stuck on one?
यही पल तो
याद है moment बना